Hello, hello, everyone. It looks like everyone's starting to trickle in on this call. Welcome to our Leadership Program Silver Club exclusive call with Dr. O. We are super excited to have you all here. There was a little over 400 of you, I believe, that qualified. So we'll let everyone that is in the waiting room still trickle in. It looks like that number is still popping up. So let us know where you're from. I see someone, Natasha, I believe she's in Quebec, probably. Is that French that I'm seeing? I'm not sure what it says. I apologize. I'm not up to date on my French phrases. We got people from New York, Nebraska, Maryland, Wisconsin, another from, yep, Natasha from Quebec, Oklahoma. So we got everyone from all over the country. Many of you on that East Coast, it looks like. For now, do
Je
we
te
have any?
vois, Natasha.
There we go. Nice. I love that. Dr. O, we got some from Alberta, Quebec, Ontario, Panama City, Florida, Kansas City. All right, everybody from across the states, Montana. Well, we want to go ahead and get things started here in just a second. We've got, looks like a few more people trickling in, but let's go ahead and just touch on the agenda, what we'll be touching on tonight before we get to Dr. O and all the awesome information he's going to be able to provide about the MetaPower line and products that we have. So we're going to have him speak for a bit. There's going to be a little bit of Q&A. We'll try and moderate those questions. If you have questions and answers that you want answered or questions that you have specifically for Dr. Osguthorpe, you can put that in the Q&A box, preferably not in the chat. That way we can see what answers you do want actually answered, and we can kind of see what the top questions are there to be able to feed those across to Dr. O so that he can touch on any of those that come up. We do have some things at the end of the call after the Q&A. We'll go over some of the save the dates and end of season incentives just to remind you guys. So thank you all again for being on the call. Just so you all know, we have still over 1,800 participants this season with you guys that are about 400 of you that qualified for this call. I just want to show you guys some of the numbers that we had as well so far throughout the season. Just over 14,500 total enrollments for all of Silver Club in the 2.5 months that we've been going. So just awesome growth that we've been able to see from the combined efforts in North America for US and Canada. But let's get down to what we're all here for, to hear from our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Russ Osguthorpe, on the MetaPower line. I will go ahead and give the time over to you, Dr. O.
Wow, it's great to be with you this afternoon. It's fun to see everybody all over the world. I'm looking forward. I've been looking forward to this meeting all day. I've been in lots of different meetings, and to put it bluntly, I've been waiting for this one. Some of the meetings have not been as fun. Many of you have probably, I think I'll get off to share with you right off the bat that this week, as you know, has been a big week at corporate. There's been a lot of changes, and some of our colleagues are no longer with us, and we are missing them terribly on this Wednesday. The restructuring that we went through was a big part of all of our lives up here in the executive suite, and I've lost some very close colleagues and friends that I work with every single day for the last 5.5 years, and that I've been with doTERRA. And it's been difficult, and I think that it would be important for me to recognize that with challenges like these comes incredible opportunities. And we are here at doTERRA to support each one of you in what you're doing. 5,000 some odd of you in Silver Club in the United States. I can't even tell you how excited we are at the corporate level and at the executive level to see Silver Club doing what it's doing. What you guys are working at is the foundation of who we are as a company. We exist here in this building to support what you are trying to do in your neck of the woods, so to speak. And we remain committed to that. This team that's on the call right now is anxiously engaged every day of their lives, trying to help and support you and your business and what you're doing. I also wanted to share with you with this restructuring, though it has been difficult and one of the hardest things professionally I've been associated with, the process has been thorough, it's been careful, and we measured hundreds of times before cutting, and we treated people as people, not numbers, which is part of who we are as a company, as you know. As someone who was closely associated with that, though not intimately associated with it, I will tell you that I'm proud of the way that doTERRA went about it. And the future, because of our restructuring, is bright. We have so much to do and so many things that are going to change. And those changes you will be able to leverage and will make your lives easier. Please understand that everything we have done over these last 2 months has been with each one of you in mind, that you are our priority in what we do here at doTERRA. Okay, with that said, can I pivot a little bit and talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, which is evidence-based essential oils. I'm using that term purposefully. So today, you've heard about MetaPower from all sorts and different types of people. You've heard me talk about the evidence surrounding it, but I would like to talk with you for a moment about MetaPower from the respect of the evidence that was used in its development and substantiation, meaning the clinical data behind it. This is designed, in my mind, to give you an increased measure of confidence as you share these products with everyone you know. There recently was a one of the big 5 consulting firms in the world. It's called the McKinsey Group. The McKinsey Group did a very large study on the health and wellness industry. It's a $1.8 trillion industry, of which we make up this much, which we'd like to make this much. We'd like ourselves to grow in that industry, but we make up a tiny fraction of that $1.8 trillion global enterprise in health and wellness. And they surveyed people in the US, Britain, and China. So by Britain, I should have said Europe. The US, Europe, and China. Thousands of people in each market. And with that data, what they found was staggering. Within the last 3 years, the market research that they've been doing in this industry over a long period of time, the customer expectations of the health and wellness industry have changed. They are no longer interested in what they were interested in only 5 years ago. Now what the customer wants are clinically proven products at a high value point that work for them, scientifically validated and doctor recommended. So that's what you have in MetaPower. And I love that comment about keeping the palm cherry. I saw that one flash on my screen just a second ago. And I will tell you, I agree. I really like palm cherry a lot more than our standard flavor. And by a lot, I don't mean this much, lots more than the other one. So I'm going to take you through, in a fireside chat way, the data around the MetaPower system. So you might remember from convention a few years ago when we launched this product that we talked about the MetaPower capsule, which many of you might remember or not, was a reformulation of the Slim and Sassy product. So Slim and Sassy had in its ingredient deck a series of essential oils at certain percentages within the bottle that was formulated based on the best available data at the time. We then, in a R&D fashion, took Slim and Sassy and made many, many different copies of Slim and Sassy. And we then tested each one of those different products, which would become Metapower, to determine how well they inhibited fat deposition or maturation of immature adipocytes or fat cells into mature fat-laden adipocytes or big old fat cells. And what I can tell you is that the product Metapower capsule, the oil Metapower, is the capsule that decreased the maturation process the most. In fact, the chosen formula for Metapower, the oil, had statistically significantly in vitro capability of decreasing the immature fat cell from turning into a mature fat cell, which is really, really, really important for metabolism. That data, you remember Nicole Stevens talked about using balloons as an analogy, that an uninflated balloon was like an immature adipocyte, and that an inflated balloon was like a mature adipocyte. And we showed in preclinical work that Metapower Advantage, the oil, halts that progression, almost driving it to zero and not allowing immature fat cells to turn into mature fat-laden adipocytes. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about. And if you have any questions on that, go ahead and ask. I can go through them with you. Second is the Metapower Assist. So Metapower Assist had 2 randomized placebo-controlled trials done supporting its launch and substantiation. And I think that most people have forgotten that. So we did, under my direction, Dr. Nicole Stevens ran 2 clinical trials. One was a dose-finding trial where we wanted to find the optimal dose, and the second was an efficacy trial. But both trials ended up reaching statistical significance in the endpoint of decreasing the blood sugar levels of healthy volunteers or clinical trial participants. And at the end of the day, what we found was that blood sugar levels would drop 10 to 15% in people who used Metapower Assist. So we did those trials over multiple weeks, and they're kind of fun. Actually, this is my happy face. I had so much fun doing this trial because when we designed it, we ended up learning exactly how powerful this supplement is. So we gave people a standard breakfast. So people participating in the trial were fed a standard breakfast that they had to eat every day that they were in the trial for the month long that they were doing the trial. And during that trial, they would come into the doTERRA corporate office cafeteria, and they would have to eat a standard breakfast that we knew had an exact number of grams of carbohydrate in it. And then we measured afterwards using a continuous glucose monitor what happened to their blood glucose after that meal. And we could watch what would happen when they were on Metapower Assist versus on the placebo. When they were on the placebo, they'd see this big spike in their blood sugar right after that meal that was very carbohydrate heavy, almost 50 grams of carbohydrate in one meal. So their carbohydrate level would spike their blood sugars up into the 300s, high 200s, really, really high levels. And then the people on Metapower who were taking Metapower Assist, who ate the exact same meal, their blood sugar level did this. Their blood sugar level went up, but it looked more like a hill than the Matterhorn. And that peak of blood sugar, we are learning more and more in medicine that it's the height of the peak of these blood sugar spikes that actually cause the damage to our cells that leads to lots of problems in the future. So what you really want to avoid is not having an average number throughout the day that is X, Y, or Z. What you really want to avoid are these huge spikes in blood glucose that occur after we eat meals. And you can imagine with our typical North American diet that there are certain things that drive our blood sugars through the roof, making blood sugar control really, really problematic for many people. Metapower Assist taken before meals will decrease your blood sugar that is experienced after the meal, or postprandially is the term that we use medically. So when you use that dietary supplement, the ingredients within it, both Metapower oil and the mulberry leaf extract, given at a clinically relevant dose, that mulberry leaf extract contains molecules called aminosugars. Don't worry about it. They're just binders of enzymes. And what they do is they inhibit the breakdown of disaccharides that you eat in your body. And they bind to those enzymes, thus inhibiting the ability of the body to break those sugars down so they don't get absorbed and you just poop them out. I know that's indelicate, but that's what's happening. So you will bind up a certain amount of that carbohydrate and it won't get to your bloodstream. Therefore, it won't cause those problems that high blood sugar spikes can cause after meals. So Metapower Assist is a very powerful tool that allows us to optimize our blood sugar after meals. And for many of us that are healthy, that is incredibly important. That high spiking blood sugar that occurs after snacks or meals, just taking a Metapower Assist with that will blunt that spike down. So instead of experiencing the hundreds, this will be very blunted and our cells won't experience that inflammation or that oxidation that happens when we combine proteins, sugars, and water at high temperature, which is what happens in our bodies every day. Our proteins actually break down over time. We age many times, or in large part considered due to these spikes in blood sugar. By muting these spikes, you can decrease your problems with these kinds of blood sugar issues. One of the questions that commonly has come up is since we've launched Metapower Assist has been what combination or what happens when we take Terrazyme with Metapower Assist? People have been driven crazy by that. If I told you how many times I've been asked that question, so I got irritated enough about it that we actually did a clinical trial where we gave people with a continuous blood glucose monitor on Metapower Assist and Terrazyme, and we measured, and without Terrazyme, and so we gave two groups of people, Metapower Assist and Terrazyme, Metapower Assist alone, and we saw what happened to them after they ate a very detailed and documented level of carbohydrate. And what we found is that it was interesting to us. We found that when you did both supplements together, you had more benefit than just using the assist alone, which was very confusing to me because we thought that what would happen would be, we hypothesized that it would actually mute the effect of the Metapower Assist, but it didn't. It didn't mute the effect. It actually made the effect more robust. So people have said to me, should we take these two separated? I like taking Terrazyme. Should I take Terrazyme at a different time? When should I take these? Should I time them differently? And according to the data that we have recently just analyzed, it doesn't matter when you take them. You can take them together. When we launched the product, we said that you should take Metapower Assist 30 minutes before the meal. And that was due to the understanding of mulberry leaf extract dosing at the time. Since that time, however, new data has been published showing that mulberry leaf extract in Metapower Assist can be taken with a meal, and you get the most powerful effect of that dietary supplement if you take it with the meal. So you can take Metapower Assist at the same time because I can never remember to take something a half an hour before I eat, because in my life and in my schedule, I cannot plan when I eat. And so oftentimes I would end up not taking the supplement because I didn't know when I was going to eat. You can take it with a meal and it actually works just as well. Okay. Okay. Metapower advantage. So to talk about metapower advantage, I want to show some slides. Let me see if I can figure out 4 years after the fact how to share my screen on Zoom calls, which one would hope I could do by now. Can you guys see my screen? Awesome. Okay. So, don't need that. Okay. So, MetaPower as a system is a very powerful tool at managing our metabolism and optimizing our metabolism. And what I want to help you with now is understanding this graph. So we've shown this graph before, and I really do not want you guys to go somewhere else in your head right now. I want you to engage with me for a second. Stick with me, okay? Just stick with me for 2 minutes. And I promise that if you understand this graph, you will understand MetaPower so much better than the vast majority of our wellness advocates. This is complex. I've tried teaching it 100 times. I'm not sure how well it's coming across. So if there are questions about this, please let me know. Health span on the y-axis, lifespan on the x-axis. So on the x-axis, this is how long we live. Our health span is how well we live. Okay. When I was 22 and could dunk a basketball 3 different ways, I was living very well. My health span at that time was 100%. I was up here at 100% when I was in my 20s. I can no longer dunk a basketball at my current age, but I'm still doing okay, right? I can run a marathon and I can go golfing with my kids and I can give my younger children and grandchildren a run for their money at most everything, but I want this curve right here to be more like the orange curve. I want to have as much health span for as long as I possibly can. I want this curve, this orange line, to be as square as possible, meaning that when I'm 80 years old, I would love to take my 18-year-old, 20-year-old grandson or granddaughter fly fishing on my fly fishing boat on the South Fork of the Snake River or the Henry's Fork of the Snake. I would love to be able to back my boat up down the boat ramp, not like a goat rodeo, but like I knew what I was doing. I would love to be able to launch that boat all by myself, row that boat with my granddaughter and her fiance in the boat, learning about this young man and what he wanted to do to take care of my granddaughter and build a beautiful family together. I would love to be able to fly fish during that whole day and carry on a conversation. That would be me over here living my healthiest life possible, right? And then if I had my wish, it would be that I'd be out here doing all this awesome stuff into my 80s and 90s. And then sometime at some holiday, I'd finish the holiday, eat Thanksgiving dinner, and just pass away and hit this lifespan curve right then. I would have lived an absolutely full life. But unfortunately, most of our lives actually look like one of these 2 curves, where there is a ton of lacking potential or lack of vitality in our life as we age. And I can't fly fish that river. I can't back up that trailer. I can't launch that boat, and I can't row it all day long, even though I'd want to. Somewhere around this 50% mark is where we stop being able to do the things we want to do in our lives. This gray line is what happens without medical intervention. The blue line is what happens with the best of medicine, managing our metabolism. And this orange line is what happens to those who take care of their bodies as well as they possibly can. They optimize their metabolism, thus increasing their health span. This little blip down here is what happens at the end of life. In the developed world, we have so much medical technology that prolongs our life, but unfortunately, our health span, the amount of vitality we have is so low that one could argue whether we're getting much benefit out of that at all. How much value we're getting out of that is questionable. And I can tell you as a physician, I've wondered many times whether we're doing the right thing in medicine when we're over on this side of the curve. So what we really want to do, the other thing I wanted to share is look at the difference at the 50% level of health span between this gray and blue, all the medical intervention that science gives line. These are lines drawn based on data. This blue line right here, you do not gain that much health span by using all these medications to make your numbers good. We are not a numbers company. We're a health and wellness company. We promote health and wellness, not better numbers. Medicine sometimes uses drugs to get better numbers, but as you can see, those better numbers don't get us very much bang for our buck. But what happens when we live the doTERRA lifestyle? You can move yourself way over here, adding years and years to your life. That is what MetaPower is designed to do, both with helping manage our fat with MetaPower the oil, managing our blood sugars and optimizing those with MetaPower Assist, and managing with MetaPower Advantage different aspects of our metabolism and our cellular health. So let me go through that with you really quick. This is clinical data that was generated using, and I want to take you through this, stick with me as well here. These are individual genes whose transcription was measured in a group taking MetaPower Assist. And what you can see, MetaPower Advantage. What you can see in MetaPower Advantage, the dark maroon line, is that genes involved in longevity are markedly increased in their expression. When we give people synthetic NMN, they also increased in their expression. But we outperformed synthetic NMN with a natural extract, providing naturally sourced NMN instead of synthetic NMN. So with SIRT1, FOXO, ATG1, ATG8, these genes were all statistically significantly upregulated in people taking MetaPower Advantage. But we outperformed synthetic NMN. So there's lots of people that are talking about taking NMN. I would offer to you that synthetic NMN is nowhere near as important as a naturally sourced NMN product like MetaPower Advantage. So you can see here the p-values, these 3 stars here, that's a p-value of less than 0.001. So the difference that we're seeing here is 99.9% chance due to MetaPower Advantage. That's as significant as it gets in my field of clinical medicine. This clinical trial was a small clinical trial, only looking at 8 people. You can see what we did here, but we also tested other outcomes. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you in this clinical trial is that they were only using 100 milligrams a day of the yeast powder longevity extract. In 1 sachet of MetaPower Advantage, there's 200 milligrams of the yeast power longevity extract. We noticed with the collagen and the NAD that was generated through the NMN pathway, remember that NMN is this master molecule that helps with our aging and our cellular aging in particular. It leads to the formation of NAD, and NAD is the molecule that powers the mitochondria, thus creating ATP levels for our cells to use. As we age, our level in the blood of NAD steadily declines. And so when we supplement with MetaPower Advantage, our NAD levels climb back to levels that they were when we were much younger. And so we can feel and do more from a cellular level. This was measured when we looked at fine lines and wrinkles using a dermatological scanner in people that were taking MetaPower Advantage. If you look at week 0 wrinkles compared to week 8 wrinkles in the skin underneath the eye, you can see that the appearance of wrinkles were decreased by approximately 10%. The other thing that we noticed was that LDL or cholesterol levels dropped as well in patients taking MetaPower Advantage, 11.5 and 16.7%. These were statistically significant levels, even though we were using only 8 patients to generate this data in a small clinical trial. That shows the power of the effect. When you can generate statistically significant numbers in a small clinical trial, it means that the effect that you're measuring is quite powerful. The other thing we noticed is that there was a statistically significant drop in CRP. CRP stands for C-reactive protein, and it is a measure of the amount of inflammation being experienced in our body. Using MetaPower Advantage in this clinical trial dropped the level of inflammation in healthy trial participants by 22%. That level is clinically relevant in my mind when you look at taking the product over a long period of time. Decreasing the amount of inflammation in your body over a long period of time by 20% will have incredibly powerful effects over the long term, only experienced by those who use the product on a regular basis. This doesn't work if you take MetaPower Advantage once in a while. It's a daily use product designed to drive down your inflammation, your cholesterol, and drive up your NAD levels to levels that you haven't seen in many years, making your cells actually younger. So that is what I wanted to tell you about MetaPower Advantage. And with that, I know that there's probably some questions that have come in. I've talked with you probably enough to make you bored, but I wanted to share with you some evidence-based essential oil stuff today about MetaPower Advantage, hoping that it would kind of increase your level of confidence as you go about helping your businesses grow using MetaPower. What questions do you guys have? Do you guys want to moderate those, Amy?
Yes,
Logan,
we've
Rebecca?
got several questions coming in the chat. So we have several questions. We're going to try and prioritize the Q&A section since that's the section that we're able to see and go through more easily. But if you guys do have a question, we'll try and look through the chat as well. But the first question, Sarah Shoemaker asks, what studies can she send to a MetaPower Advantage skeptic? And that would be best for that.
We're actually submitting the MetaPower Assist data right now for publication. The MetaPower Advantage data, those slides that I just shared with you have been shared at convention, and you can show them those slides. That data hasn't been published. The problem with publishing data, Sarah, is that it gives that data to our competitors, and we're not real fans of doing that. I want to publish the data, but there are business reasons why business people don't want to publish data. They want to keep that competitive advantage to the business. So I've had to kind of capitulate a little bit on that, but I'll somehow survive. But that data that I've shared with you today and that data that's been shared at convention is stuff that you can share. So don't hesitate to look in the DMK for that. I'm sure that it exists in multiple places around it. You can find it there. Next question.
Awesome. The next question will probably help answer a few questions that we've seen come in. But a lot of our leaders are asking, what are the guidelines for the best time of day to take the MetaPower Advantage, either just in general or according to your age or with any health issues?
Do you know what? I've looked at this data extensively. Originally, looking at some of the Japanese data specifically, I have recommended that if you're kind of over the age of 55, that it would be much better to take it at night, because there was data coming out of Japan that those that were a little older gained much more benefit and were only statistically significant benefit. The only statistically significant benefits of taking NMN products were realized when they took it at night. And that was because in the elderly, it seems to help with sleep. One of the main outcomes that has been shown in the NMN literature has been sleep. So I've recommended that those that are a little older, that they take it at night. But I think that the most important recommendation I can give you about timing is take it when it makes most sense to you. If you will get into a routine of taking it, that's when you should take it. So if you're in the routine of taking your supplements at a certain time of day, do it with that. If you like putting MetaPower Advantage into your smoothie in the morning, do it with that. Do it whenever you will take it regularly. That's the best answer I can give you. With specific populations, and you may find with specific individuals, that there are better times for you to take it. I've heard of people who take it at night and then feel a little jazzed up and can't get to sleep. I've heard of people who take it in the morning and then get sleepy. Your individual response will dictate when you should take it. Experiment with it, find what's best for you. But in general, in answering the patient or answering the question for a population of people, I try to say the older you are, the more late in the day I would recommend taking it. But in general, take it whenever you want to take it.
Okay, we have a lot of people who are asking about, I guess, when it comes to like diabetes, whether, they're full-on diabetic type 2, what can a diabetic person benefit from taking more metabolic assist at each meal and the metabolic soft gels per meal?
Well, so in answering that question, I would refer you to your physician, because our supplements are not meant to be used to treat disease. That's not what we do. And so to remain compliant, I will remind you that dietary supplements are for healthy people and you should talk to your physician. I will answer the question in the following way though. When you take MetaPower Assist, your blood sugar will decrease. So for example, if a diabetic were to take MetaPower Assist, their carb counting, which diabetics have to do very carefully, will get messed up. And then you would run into the problem of potentially going too low if you were taking insulin, for example. So be very careful when adding a dietary supplement to your regimen if you have health challenges. Talk to your physician about that before you do so. There is very good clinical data on MetaPower Assist that it will lower your blood sugar. And you don't want to do that if it could become too low. So make sure you talk to your physician if you're going to incorporate MetaPower Assist into your dietary supplement regimen and you have a problem like diabetes.
That's a great response to that. We actually have another question that several people have asked as well, is that they are running into some people who may be skeptics. Maybe they've used the MetaPower system for a little bit, and they say that they're not feeling any of the benefits that we're talking about. What would you say to those people about that?
Of the soft gel or the Advantage? I couldn't.
The Advantage specifically.
Huh. Well, remember that when you take anything, your body becomes used to it. So I don't know if you've recognized this. I've got Shinrin-yoku going in my office. It's been going since I started this. I can't smell it anymore. And that's because my body has said, it's there, you don't need to smell it anymore. And I've gone what we call nose deaf. I'm using a bad analogy because it's not the same mechanism, but the principle is the same. Anything that we do that we felt this powerful effect of, if we continue to do that over and over again, our body begins to incorporate that into itself and into its homeostasis mechanisms, so we don't feel it as much as we did before. The body is still gaining the benefit. I'm still smelling Shinrin-yoku. The chemistry is still going into my brain and I'm still experiencing it, but I don't necessarily feel it the same way, because that's what we're designed to do, is to incorporate into ourselves whatever it is that we're doing. So for example, if I go on a walk every night for a month, that first month as I start walking, that first week is tough if I've not walked for a long time. That second week, I start feeling great. That third week, I feel even better. And then the fourth week, I'm like, this is kind of my new normal. This is just who I am. I go walking every night and I don't feel the same way. So don't be afraid if you're not quote unquote feeling things. That's just your body being your body.
Love that.
Yeah, we have, I've seen this come up a lot too, where everyone is, saying we have a lot of really great products here at doTERRA. And, is it okay if we're taking a whole bunch of them all at the same time? Or can it like counteract? Because saying they're taking everything and then some under the sun, is that going to, counteract in a way that's not beneficial?
That's such a great question. It's one that I've asked since I've gotten here. I will tell you that we are actively trying to answer this question. What was the name of the person that answered that question so I can call her or him by name?
Yeah, it's Katia Gorman. She's the one that asked that question.
Katia, I so appreciate that question. I really do. I don't know the answer, is my honest response to that question. But it is a question that I'm actively doing research into to answer. And I will tell you that a group of us, including Dr. Riggs, Dr. Von Watts, and others, are sitting down to try and make sense of all of this for you, so that depending on who you are, there might someday, this is my cryptic smile, be a way that you can figure out how you should answer that question for you, Katia, and that somebody else would have a different answer. And that answer would be personalized for you with doTERRA product based on assessments and data that doTERRA uses to make those recommendations. We would then give that tool to you as wellness advocates, and you would then be able to use that tool to help your customers make sense of the exact same thing. So for instance, just because we make it doesn't mean you need to take it. For instance, I don't take the phytoestrogen complex. Right? And that's a simple way of personalizing doTERRA for me. But there are very characteristic low-lying assessments, easy assessments to do, that you could do to figure out how to recommend for individual customers as well as yourselves what supplements and products I should be using. So for example, a mood assessment, a functional movement assessment, a lifestyle assessment, all could be used to recommend products and make our very complex library catalog of products much more approachable for an up-and-coming silver in terms of how to translate that complex product offering into personalized recommendations. Carol Holtz, I saw that. Be careful, but yeah. But really a nice, easy way for you to share doTERRA and make doTERRA personal to the person you're sharing doTERRA with.
Awesome, thank you. We had a couple other leaders reach out asking a similar question, so I'll kind of put them together. But Jackie and Sandy were asking, how many times a day can you take the MetaPower Assist? AM, PM, only once a day?
Yeah, the recommendation on the bottle is, I think, I can't remember, 1 capsule per meal, I think, or something like that. The way we studied it was actually 2 capsules with each meal. So I know that level is safe. We've done lots of studies on that population in that clinical trial. So up to 2 capsules per meal is safe.
Awesome. Amy, do we have any other questions?
Yeah, there was another one that I think really kind of stood out, and I feel like it kind of I think it kind of hits with what like a lot of people were saying. So does everybody need the MetaPower system as a whole, or at least just parts of it?
I think there's an argument to be made that most North Americans would benefit from the whole MetaPower system. But let's say, for example, you're a 25-year-old super in shape person who eats extremely clean. I'm not sure that that is the end all be all system for that individual. But for the typical average North American, all three components of the system will be beneficial. Now, whether or not those are high enough up on their particular need to be something that they would take every day for the rest of their lives, that's kind of a value and science-based proposition that they need to get into. I would say that MetaPower Advantage and MetaPower Assist are very important supplements in our catalog. I would say LLV, PB Restore are also extremely important. Serenity, as you know, we just completed this really awesome clinical trial on Serenity. Does every human being need to take Serenity? Well, if you put on a sleep monitor and you're going to sleep at night and sleeping beautifully, do I need to take Serenity? Probably not. So you need to personalize doTERRA for everyone you meet. I would recommend that when you talk with people, you find out what their pain points are, what are the problems that they experience, and I'll guarantee you that doTERRA has multiple answers that will meet their needs. And the more you personalize and bring value to that individual, the further we'll all go together in helping the world heal.
I love that. I think we have time for maybe a couple more questions, and then we'll finish up this call. We have had a couple people reach out about this question, but we'll call out Isabella. Richard asked, why do people gain weight with the MetaPower system? She's seen some people gain weight and some people don't.
Yeah, we've heard that before. A lot of people, I'll be frank here, MetaPower was compared a little bit to a weight loss product when it was launched, and I found that to be a little bit unfortunate. I wished we wouldn't have done that. I think we positioned the product a little poorly. Weight loss is a known side effect or benefit of taking synthetic NMN. It's a small amount of weight that comes off, not usually a large amount, and it's not with everybody. So our product contains not just NMN. It contains the whole biosynthetic pathway that leads to NAD. So it contains niacin, NAD, the whole biosynthetic pathway. There's like 6 different steps. And within that biosynthetic pathway, all of those compounds are having biological effects. They're all in MetaPower Advantage. Also within MetaPower Advantage, which we didn't talk about today, is collagen. And collagen is a pretty big game-changing ingredient as well, as you all know. So I think when we compared MetaPower Advantage really heavily to NMN-based products and then linked it to weight loss, we did all of you guys a little bit of a disservice. It made everybody think that we were going to lose weight if we took MetaPower Advantage. That is not MetaPower Advantage's goal. MetaPower Advantage is a way to help your cells act younger by giving them more NAD and giving them collagen, which has been shown to have multiple different health benefits as well. So I would recommend that those that have seen a small amount of weight gain or some weight gain while taking MetaPower Advantage, they're probably seeing it for a number of reasons. One of them might be MetaPower Advantage, but I've not studied this or have a scientific answer to that question, although I have heard several people that have had that side effect or experience. It's probably got more to do with what else is going on in their life, in my mind, than it does MetaPower Advantage, but it's probably a longer discussion. So I hope that helps you.
I think that's a beautiful answer. I think we'll have one more question just to round this out. We've had several people ask, what is the best way to consume the advantage? It should be quickly, slowly, with a small amount of water, with a lot of water.
Yeah, within a few minutes.
Within a few minutes.
Yeah, I think it's really the best way is the way that will make it most easy for you. I can tell you that because I wasn't a huge fan of the taste of the original Metapower Advantage, that I just put it in a couple ounces of water and took it in one swallow, so that I didn't have to have what was for me. Not some people love the taste of it. I just didn't really love it that much. So that's how I did it. The palm cherry has been a game changer for me. And so now I'll just put that in a protein smoothie with greens and I'm good to go.
Awesome. Well, I know we had a lot of people asking questions and I know we couldn't get to all of them. So I do apologize for anybody who we couldn't get your question to. But we do appreciate Dr. O and your time being on this call. We're glad
My
that you were
pleasure.
looking forward to it.
It's great to be with you guys. You guys are the future of doTERRA. We have such great faith in you. We believe in you and we're here for you. So keep on keeping on. Do all the good things. Make it work.
Yes, and we just echo that. Keep doing it. Keep being strong. We love you guys. We care about you guys. And we know that you're going to go on and do really great things, especially as the Silver Club season. So as we finish up, we just want to again thank you, Dr. O, for being on this call and sharing with MetaPower. It was incredible. We wanted to finish up this call just letting you guys know that we are running an incentive for Silver Club right now. So you can earn 10 LRP points for every qualifying enrollment that you get for a max of 100 LRP points. That's a maximum of 10 enrollments from this month that you can get those LRP points from, that you yourself, so it's an incentive for you. And then if you meet your May requirements, you can be entered into a drawing to win a swag item. 50 winners will be selected from this, and it's pretty awesome swag. So definitely it would be awesome to get into that. And then all of our graduates from Silver Club will qualify for an exclusive end of season call with a very special guest speaker that will be announced. But the speaker will happen in June. So we're super excited about this amazing end of season incentive. Go out, share some MetaPower, go do great things. And then don't forget about some of our amazing calls that were coming up. These are our last couple call, guys. We're finishing the season. I can't believe it's happening. But for our mentors, we will be sending out a reminder to you that there will be an exclusive mentor call on Tuesday, May 21st at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time with an awesome guest speaker. So please stay tuned for that. And then back by popular demand, we'll be having a roundtable talk with Scott Greer talking about DMK Part 2 and Instagram and things like that. So stay tuned for our announcement about that as well. It'll be on Thursday, May 23rd at 1 p.m. So almost from a week from tomorrow, actually. We're super excited about these amazing calls that are going to happen. What a great way to end the season. And again, we just want to thank you again, Dr. L, for taking this time with us and being on this call. You're amazing. You're incredible. And we all appreciated learning from you today. So thank you again.
It was great to be with all of you guys. And for my Quebecois friends, à la prochaine chicane.
People were actually very curious if they would be able to get a copy of your slides or if it's available somewhere that they could access.
I think they're all available. They were all done at convention. I've done them at leadership. I've done them all over the place. So
Okay.
Awesome. So they'll be on the digital marketing kit.
Yeah, talk with legal. If they're the ones that get to decide what goes out, not me. I wish I was the boss, but I'm not.
Lovely. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day, and we'll see all of you later on our next calls. Bye.
Bye-bye.